You know, there's probably not a person alive that hasn't been captivated by trains at some time or another. For some of us, they symbolized the romance of travel. We watched elegant travelers on sleek passenger trains as they sped by on their way to, well, we could only imagine where. For others, the train symbolized the power of the machine. At first, it was the steam engine with its mighty drivers, a machine that produced such incredible power that it could pull thousands of tons of steel and goods. Then came the diesel, with greater power than even the mighty steamers. And up there in the cab, in command of all that awesome power, sat the engineer. How we envied him. For generations, one of the most common answers from school children to the question, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" was a railroad engineer. For whatever reason, millions of people. For most of us, driving a locomotive became a long-forgotten dream. But countless people all over the world have another way of expressing their love of trains. They reproduce them in miniature, participating in the hobby of model railroading. Some enjoy being in command of the train itself. Others enjoy the chance to control a giant corporate empire. For still others, it's the pride of the craftsman, the skilled model builder that can reproduce a car or locomotive or setting complete down to the last detail. No matter which part a person enjoys, a model railroad club allows them the chance to participate in building and running a large layout that would otherwise be economically prohibitive. One of these is the Gold Coast Modular Railroad Club. Founded in 1987, they operate a magnificent 3,300 square foot HO gauge layout in Camarillo, California, a small city about 30 miles north of Los Angeles. The layout has over 900 feet of dual mainline track and hundreds of spurs, sidings, and yards. The members own some 1,800 fully certified cars and over 200 engines. But it wasn't always so good for the club. You see, it was founded without a home. The members built modules, small sections of layout that could join together to form a complete unit. Whenever they could find a fair or community event with space enough to accommodate them, they'd assemble the modules, and they could actually run the trains that they'd spent countless hours building. Then, in 1992, the owner of a local shopping center donated space where the club could permanently assemble the railroad. Once the layout was up and running, the members launched a full-scale building program. Of course, no model railroad is ever finished, and this program continues today. When they started the production of this video, the producers wanted to avoid the normal shooting style of looking at a model railroad. So when a professional quality miniature video camera became available, they developed a unique style of production you'll see here. For the next few minutes, you'll tour the layout from on board the train, like the engineer. Occasionally, you'll move trackside to watch the train pass by. Join us now as we ride the Gold Coast Modular Railroad. All aboard! Our feature train is a replica of the Southern Pacific Railroad's famous Daylight passenger train. Its owner, Bruce Block, has reproduced the steam-powered Daylight exactly as it was when it traveled the California coast in 1941. A set of yard switchers is bringing the cars for this great train from their siding out to the metro train yard. Now that he has a full head of steam, our engineer is bringing this famous Lima 484 locomotive out to couple up for today's run. Today, the 4449 is owned by the city of Portland and is maintained in perfect running condition by a dedicated crew. Our daylight is heading for Dunsmuir Station, where we'll begin today's trip. On the way, we'll be passing through the cut and past the logging camp at East Moon Junction. Our daylight is ready to head out. All aboard! As Bruce's daylight builds up a full head of steam, we can really appreciate the superb detail of this model. We're passing the East Camarillo Junction now on our way to West Dunsmuir. In the distance, you can see the grain elevators in West Albany. Ahead of us is the tunnel that leads to West Albany. This is the West Albany station, and a beautiful Lackawanna passenger train is just leaving on its way to West Dunsmuir. The train is being pulled by a pair of 50s vintage E-units. We're approaching those grain elevators that we could see from East Camarillo. As we pass through East Albany now, our daylight is heading for the Portland Curve. Here comes a new Southern Pacific C-44-9. As we pass through Portland, in the distance you can see the gleaming towers of Metro City. As we leave East Portland, we're passing the hump leading to the club's central yard. From the top, cars can be released to coast to their storage location. Our main line leads to the tunnel at the end of the big grade. Just exiting the tunnel now is a freight being pulled by the biggest of them all, a 4884 Big Boy. Ahead now in the distance, on a siding waiting for us to pass, is a great model of the Ringling Brothers circus train. We'll see the circus parade that's come to town a little later on. We're going to meet a 30-car auto rack train with a Union Pacific SD60M on point. We're on the other side of the East Camarillo Junction now, and around that bend up there is one of the newest parts of the Gold Coast Railroad, Golden Valley. A lot of Golden Valley is still under construction, but the yards and the town are going to be a great addition to the layout. Trackside signs announce our approach to Metro City. As we approach, a new Amtrak is just leaving. Look at some of those private cars in that train. Metro City is a major metropolitan area overlooking the tracks. In fact, even more tracks run underneath the city. Look familiar? Well, we're passing through our own daylight's home yard. We're about to meet a stack train with another Southern Pacific C-44-9 on point. Kaboom Valley is one of the most scenic parts of the Gold Coast layout. This river gorge and old mill sets at the entrance to Kaboom Valley. That tunnel up ahead leads to Rico. It's a big day in Rico because the circus has come to town. Townfolk, young and old, thrilled to the big parade. And here we are. That's the lake in East Kaboom Valley. Just to our right is Moon Rock, and on the other side of it is the cut at East Moon Junction. Ahead, it's the end of the line. Next stop, Dunsmuir Station. We hope you've enjoyed your trip on the Gold Coast Modular Railroad, but stay with us as we put the 4449 to bed. They've dispatched a yard switcher to take the cars back to the yard for service. It's a whole lot of work ahead for the maintenance crew before tomorrow. Well, it's been a great run, but now night is falling on the Gold Coast Railroad, and our locomotive, now in the hands of the yard crew, is heading for the roundhouse for the night. Sitting on the left, waiting for clearance, is the most powerful locomotive ever built. That whine is the unmistakable sound of its 8,500 horsepower gas turbine engine. These monsters were used by the Union Pacific to pull freights over Utah's Wasatch Mountains.